Welcome back to a brand new video of the Target Individual Program, Individual Experience. Target Individual Programming. Soon as I walked out of the apartment building, my eyes shifted to look at the tree, and then the New York Predator Department immediately used the siren. All right, so just to show you guys and explain to you guys what it is that they do, right? And using the sirens as a coercive threat, using the tree, the color tree. What's on the tree? The leaves, right? Tree. What color is the tree? Green. Okay. I talk about how they used to, whenever I used to get angry, people used to bother me earlier in my targeting. All right, and I would get angry. They will come, stop in front of me, and start counting a whole stack of money in front of me. Then whenever I do something good, they would attack me. Every time I go to do something good, they would attack me. Every time I go for a job interview, they would attack me. So it was like every time I try to do something positive, they'll attack me. But when I was angry, they would come and count money in front of me. All right? You got to understand the backwards mindset they try to create within us. And they create within a lot of us also. You know, that toxic behavior, making you believe that you'll be rewarded for it. No, they're just setting you up. That's all. They just have to entrap you. Right? You got to understand their mindset and who they are. All right? And I was watching there was a video of, this was during the 1980s, early 80s, on Africa. White British man talking about Africans in Africa, and clearly stating that Egypt was a black civilization, a black African civilization. What the hell are you doing? Okay. Oh, it's a parking space right there. Right, clearly a black civilization. Right, and then it goes to the truth, which is that they lie. They lie when it comes to African history. They cover it up. Right? Why? Because they have to erase our history from our minds. The church did it in Europe. For almost 1,000 years, the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, erased the minds of white Europeans. And when I say erase the mind, meaning that they dumb them down so that they can feed them religion. Okay? And anyone that deviates from that belief system, they were tortured to death. All right, that's why you had the Protestant agenda, right, or the Protestant referendum. They literally went to war, killing each other over whose interpretation of the Bible, of the scriptures, they should follow. Right? So you got to understand the mindset. Like I said, you gotta understand the mindset of who they are. And they are turning us into them, the dark side of them, the dark part of their toxic personality. That's who they're turning us into. Well, we don't, and that's against each other, right? Against each other. But Negropeans will hold on to that religion for dear life, talking about it's black history, right? About black, it's black people wrote the Bible. Okay, so let me ask you a question. If you get paid to write down an interpretation that somebody give you, yes, you wrote it, but did the concept come from you? And you cannot take ownership of it because you didn't come up with that concept. Your ancestors might have came up with something different, which was their African spirituality. But was Africans involved in creating the scriptures? Yeah, of course. Did the concept of this Bible came from their mind? No, it did not. It came from the mind of Europeans. And this is why it condones stuff like slavery and stuff like that. African people don't do stuff like that, at least not in the form of, they talk about in the Bible, about beating your slaves almost to death, and if you live, then nothing should happen, and blah blah blah. Those concepts don't come from us. Wipe that smile up your dumb face. Right? Those concepts don't come from us, right? And you got to understand that. So we will turn our back on our own African spirituality, which created the sciences, philosophy, chemistry, mathematics, I should say mathematics, right? And so forth, right? Agriculture, right? Architecture, and so forth. Right? The video I posted on my Facebook page, if you guys want to go see it, is there. All right, talks about Kemet being the greatest and oldest civilization in the world. Despite what they tell you, they used to tell you the truth. You know, for the most part on television, some of them used to have like National Geographic at one point. Look, you know, predator department over there. Right? You know, they used to tell you the truth. Now, you know, they're straight up lying, erasing our history, right? Because they don't want us to have the knowledge of our history. And that is a problem for us. Because going forward, like I said, they keep pushing us to the bottom. And we have yet to realize that. We think that going to church and praying is going to do anything. See, I don't mind if you do that, right? But what else are you doing? Like I said, you look at the black churches, billions of dollars each year that are given to them, and they do nothing substantial for their people. Because their job is to take, right? To take. Not to receive and to give, just to take. Right? Because that is who they are. It is the mindset that's created within them. Right? You look at the Roman Catholic Church. You know, people will say, well, you know, Roman Christianity has done. Christianity, I keep saying this. You know, they keep ignoring the history, and they make excuses. Well, you know, look at they were, you know, they were sacrificing children. Well, the Bible sacrifice is the children sacrifice in the Bible, right? You know, hear about the Passover. God sacrificed each of his firstborn? God did that. Okay, so, you know, it's funny how Christians like to come up with these nonsense as if their Bible isn't 10 times worse or even 100 times worse. Okay? Like, please. Y'all need to read that damn book for what it is. Learn the good lessons from it and throw the rest away. If you're going to take it literally, then you're a dumbass. Because the Bible is not meant to be taken literally. It's never meant to be taken literally. Right? They made it literal. They made you believe it as literal. Look. Anyhow, same color vehicle too. Might be the same one. Okay.
Oh, thank you. You don't know her? Thank you.
You're welcome.